Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tax Stories number 77. Today, my guest is Edita Janušiene, head of the Lithuanian tax authorities for 8 years. And Edita has been with the Bank of Lithuania, National Audit Office, State Tax Inspectorate, Ministry of Finance, uh, many places. Thank you, Edita, for joining us and welcome to Tax Stories.
Labdien, Janis, labdien, Latvia. Greetings from Vilnius. Thankfully, not raining today. We have a good day, so I hope in Riga you also have a good weather.
Yes, and would you like to mention something else besides what I did?
You mentioned that I have a lot of jobs, but they are not so many because all my work is dedicated to our Lithuania. All time I was a public servant, so in all these places I was trying to do my best, and we could discuss about that.
Let's turn back time to some years ago when you started in Šiauliai district as the uh, person working in the state tax inspectorate. What made you choose this career opportunity to start in tax authorities?
You know, Yanis, it was a very long time ago in not easy 90s when we have prepared to work in governmental institutions. It was much not easier to work, but it was easier to survive in this time. If you know this period. And the second is that I really want to work for the government, for our public, for our society. But I started as just simple specialist working with some taxes, declaration, paper declaration, a lot of paper declaration and consultation in different areas. So I know the work in state tax inspectorate from each step and almost in each areas I have experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was one of the reasons why I decided to participate in the tender when they are looking for head of state tax inspectorate.
How would you compare tax inspection back then and now? What is it possible to compare?
You know, it's unbelievable difference, and this time, but we in state tax inspectorate in Lithuania we have a special day dedicated for newcomers, and for them I'm speaking how we worked 30 or 35 years ago, and the eyes were so big because we at that time we had a lot of papers, no IT systems, even computers came maybe after 10 years when I started working in SCI. And we doing a lot of services using IT systems, and even our clients, sometimes I think that they didn't notice that we do the services for them. And also attitude. The very important thing is attitude, because now we are looking at taxpayers as a clients, as a people, and trying to help them. Maybe 10 years ago we changed our position from controller to supporter to consultant, and I think it's most is the biggest changes in tax administration in Lithuania. I think it's almost the same in Latvia, Estonia, and other tax administrations also.
Mm-hmm. Now, under the flag of supporter of businesses, we are changing the tax administration from next year, that the tax police is going to be separate from the tax authorities. Did you do something similar in Lithuania?
We never been united on one flag. Because financial service crime institution is under the Ministry of Interior. or we are under the Ministry of Finance. Of course, we have a good cooperation with this institution, but from my point of view, it's a little bit different task.
Mhm. So it helps to be different
Yeah,
under different roofs, so to say.
yeah. Maybe not on a different route, but just separate, because it's not easy to be consultant when you have inside you some part of this institution. This guys with uniforms and so on goes.
If we look at your career, do you have some, I don't know, authors or books that have inspired you, that are something that you keep close to your bookshelf?
You know, I am really real fan of Simon Sinek, if I pronounce that good this name of his golden ring, and also just simple Peter Drucker for me is really the basis of my knowledge of management. And this year I graduated ISM University of Economic and Management, and I was really proud of that. I'm not planning to graduate, but before a few years ago, this university made a good proposal for public sector. They created special program for public servants, and it was a real possibility to join this university and to graduate.
And regarding your decisions so far, or some projects so far, is there something that stands out? Like, yes, this is like the best decision in my life.
The best decision in my life, I think it was to have family and children. It's just human decision, and also to went from Šiauliai district to central level. And of course, this decision is not easy to graduate ISM, because it was not only very interesting period, but it also requires a lot of efforts from me as a head of such kind of institution, because you need a lot of time for studying and to write some diploma work. But always I was trying to use the new practices or new ideas from ISM lectures, how to implement in my organization. And last year we had a special program from ISM lectures for STI heads, special dedicated for our institution, and it helps us to improve our management quality and our, I would say, emotional intellect. And also it helps to enhance our employees' engagement, I think.
Right.
And to create more team spirit. We have more team spirit, but I think it helps to create more team spirit in STA. It's very important, I think.
Yeah.
In each organization, not on STA.
I also wanted to ask about your saying about internal communication, but how about external communication, PR? I think at least in Latvia, I sometimes see this this problem that actually many people are writing not so very good things publicly about tax authorities, and tax authorities cannot really respond to that. How do you solve this problem, this PR problem in Lithuania?
You know, I am thinking it is problem or not. Now we say that, of course, it's a democracy, and people should have their own opinion about tax authority and such, and about other institutions. But I would say that we became more and more open each year more and more open to public, and we have really participated in a lot of conferences. We are organizing meetings with journalists, and I also have my post. I am making a post on LinkedIn. Some I had some making a post on LinkedIn, but I would like to share with you the results of our latest survey. In the spring, we have had the results, and the trust of companies of STI is 78.8%, is the highest rate when STI exists, I think.
Wow. How did you achieve this?
And also, I would like to admit that we have some special consultation board with business there, because previously we still have, but 60 agreements with different associations. Could you imagine how to manage them? It's very difficult. And we decided to create such kind of consultation board where the main associations send their representatives. And I think this is also helps us to increase trust among our clients, especially companies. The physical person's trust level is a little bit lower. It's 70%, but it's still higher than previous. And as we started about what the biggest changes are existing in tax administration area, we improve our consultation. We did a projects how to learn to write simple, very difficult things, because I think you also agree that tax law is not it's not the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, it's not too easy, especially for people which haven't economic or financial background. It's not easy to understand, and I think that really helps us. And we are very open. When we started, for example, when we are planning to start some nudging companies, yeah, or some changes in our control measures, we also, I think, yeah, every time we announce for business what we expected and what we are planning to do. I think this openness and transparency is also helps us to achieve bigger trust level especially in trusted our taxpayers, because most of our taxpayers are really trusted and compliant enterprises.
So this openness was the key reason for this high recognition from the businesses, right?
I think so. I think yes, and also we have a lot of, we respond to people. People are not so satisfied of our services and are not satisfied of some our decisions. We really are trying each time to respond and to explain why the decision was that or this. I think it's very also it's also very important to be understandable. Just not ignore problems, but if you are ignoring problems, this problem, I think, would start to be a big problem. But if you're not ignoring a problem, and you could speak with people openly, and they understood. For sure, some people are not so tend to be very compliant. I think it's in all countries we have part of society like that. But the most people are really open to be compliant. They want to be compliant. Maybe they not understand, but it's our obligation to explain them this difficult tax law. Especially now we have really, this autumn will be very hot, I think, for us. Next year, because as you know, maybe we just passed tax reform.
Yes, we'll talk about
now
that.
now we have to implement all this parliament decisions.
Is that now the main headache on your table now, this tax reform?
I have two headaches. One headache related with tax reform. Second headache is related with 10 projects. We have big 10, not 10 now, when we finished 9 projects financing by EU funds from Resilient Fund. I don't know how many projects have our Latvian colleagues, maybe not so much. And we have to finish them until the next year, the 1st of May. So the time is very short and the scope is very huge, but we will do as we could. And I trust my team, and I think we will achieve really good results and implementation on this project, and we survive after tax reform implementing.
Before we speak about the reform, I also wanted to ask about this openness and access to the tax authorities. I remember what seemed to be different from Latvian tax authorities that when I spoke to our Lithuanian colleagues, that actually it's quite easy in Lithuania for large companies to get access to the Lithuanian tax authorities and a large taxpayer's office. Is that so? And what are the principles you apply to those big taxpayers?
We have a special department dedicated for large taxpayers, and I think it was more than 10 years ago. It was really the good decision to create this department. Previously, we have 500 large taxpayers. Now we have 720 large taxpayers supervised by this department. And the main task for this department is to consult our large taxpayers and to prevent maybe tax avoidance risks. And I would like to admit that our large taxpayers share in national budget revenue is 44%. So it's important part for also for state, for government and for us. And I think this openness and with large taxpayers and cooperation and communication, it's also helps us to increase our trust level. And even more, I would like to add that 2 years ago, we create in this department, we create separate division dedicated for Welsh people, and now they supervised more than 200 the Welsh people, richest people in Lithuania. And also, I think it's really what a good step in improving tax administration quality.
Do I remember correctly that those large payers are somehow regularly meeting the tax authorities
They
to
have
their issues?
they have special dedicated consultant. Special dedicated consultants. They know their consultant, and we have in this department, of course, we have also analytical division, but these consultants are responsible for communication with large taxpayers. And each year we have special conference dedicated to large taxpayers issues.
Okay. And between the Baltic tax authorities, do you see some major differences, or they are very similar?
You are speaking about large taxpayers or about tax administration at all?
Tax administration at all.
I think we all are on the same way. We have a really good cooperation with BIBA, with Raigo and their team, and periodical meetings in different levels. Our biggest last meeting was this year in June in Estonia, and exchange of our expertise, of our practices, of our successes, and of some challenges and maybe difficulties. It's usual practice among Baltic states. And as I mentioned previously, we all are on the same path. I would say increase our digital transformation, increase quality of our services, using nudging some nudging programs instead of of big control measures because they are so very expensive. The most expensive measure is tax audit in tax administration, and I wouldn't say that we have a lot of differences. There are some differences in our tax law, but it's political decision.
Mhm. And I
But
know,
maybe you know some interesting differences, and you could share with me.
no, I also have a feeling that the authorities are quite now aligned between themselves, and I have even heard that in the EU level, the Baltic tax authorities are treated as quite advanced already, and as a small country, it's actually a good privilege to implement some new ideas fast.
For us, it's easier. We, as you mentioned, smaller than, for example, France or Spain, and changes became quicker than in these countries. And also we are presenting our countries in conferences, for example, in IOTA format, in OECD format, and in October, all three countries we are planning to participate in IOTA's annual conference in Estonia, in Tallinn, and present our achievements. So it's good for Baltic states, not only for tax administration, but also for just for Baltic states that we represented. We are planning to represent our achievements.
Do you already know what will you present in that conference?
Yes, I am planning to present our new achievements in the VAT control and VAT analytic area.
Hmm.
And we also will bring some exhibition in Tallinn
Okay.
to present our quite new icon system for VAT fraud and our pilot project related with evaluating of VAT declarations in real time.
I have some questions about that too, but
Okay.
before that, I also wanted to finish this sort of block about the tax authority with one difference between the Lithuanian and Latvian tax authorities. That's tax dispute committee that you have. Uh, that are you satisfied with that committee? We don't have it. How does it help? Does it help? And how to main question that we have here is how to preserve neutrality of this committee, because basically in small country everybody knows everybody, and maybe it's difficult to keep this this neutrality.
As you just touched a quite sensitive topic in Lithuania, especially related with neutrality of this committee, because now all members, I think all members of this committee, they previously worked in state tax inspectorate.
Mhm.
So for business, it's not so easy. But what about this committee? I think it's good on one hand. It's really good to have this committee because it helps to courts. It takes some part of work, huge part of work, and to go directly to court. I don't know how it's Latvia works, but it's not easy. As I mentioned, as we discussed previously, tax law is very difficult law, and if you don't have specialized lawyers or judges in this area, it's not easy to decide who is right, who is not. But on the other hand, we now are thinking about changes in this process, but they still on the table in Ministry of Finance, and maybe next time we could speak about what we are planning to change. But I was a person who raised these questions of neutrality because I'm looking at other countries, and in some countries, as I know, this committee consists of three parts: from representatives of state tax inspectorate, from representatives from business, and representatives from science, tax tax advocates and so on. So, and I am supporter of this change, but I don't know how it will be decided.
Mm-hmm.
What about Latvia, for example? Are you satisfied that you don't have this committee, or you're thinking about this committee?
I'm a big supporter of such committee because I can see that it makes sense that there is some sort of middle layer between the tax authorities and the court, so that some part of decisions can be avoided, that they go further to the court level, which takes a lot of money and time. But this, of course, when we spoke about this at the Ministry of Finance, then this neutrality issue was popping up again and again. So it's a valid topic, definitely.
Agree with you that court is really time consuming and money consuming, and it's not the best way to have cases, tax cases directly from SDI to court. But as we discussed, I also agree with you that the question of neutrality should be solved.
Mm,
And how to
Okay.
solve it?
Okay, let's now switch to taxation. How about this Lithuanian tax reform? What did you change in broad terms and why? And are you satisfied with the outcome?
To tell the truth, I was not expected so quick tax reform. It was done very quickly. As you know, the new government started only at the end of last year, and a lot of changes in all main taxes, and two new taxes, sugar tax, and also special tax for insurance companies. It's called security fee. So in VAT area, I think there are not so major changes because they changed some tax rates from 9 till 12, and opposite, for example, for books from 10 till 5. And in profit tax, yes, there are some changes, but mostly our business was not supporter for increasing profit tax rate, because previously we have 15%. This year we have 16, next year it's 17. But at last, we all understood that, almost all understood that it's important for our country security to have enough finance for defense. The same situation in Latvia, Estonia, and other countries. So the biggest, I think, challenge would be with income tax and with property tax, because it's a lot of changes, but still we have some great places, as I say, to discuss with Minister of Finance how to implement properly these taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, for example, really a supporter of income tax changes to calculate all revenues. It doesn't matter from which side these revenues came, but to all, and to have this proportional taxation. But it's not easy to implement. But I think we have a good team, and we will do as much good as we can.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
and also I maybe expect a little bit different in property tax, but it was also political decision to narrow the scope. So, and we are planning to change our declaration form. We have to change our declaration form, but we are planning to create this form very simple and as much as possible simply and understandable for our persons.
Mm-hmm.
I know in Latvia you have property tax.
Yes, yes. In Estonia, they have just tax on real estate, not on land. But regarding property tax, actually, I wanted to ask, how did you deal with this valuation issue? Because basically, that's here the biggest problem, it's extremely difficult to update the cadastral values and get the right taxation value for the property.
You know, last year, our registered center evaluate this so taxation amounts and values, taxation values, and from the 1st of January next year, it will be new values, and I still don't know how it changed this, but I heard that in big cities and in our cities near the sea, near the other nice cities, for example, in Druskininkai, this values increases 2 or 3 times. So we became more and more closer to real value. And I think it's also the reason that a lot of people have loans from banks, and this value should be written real, not special decreasing. And now we changed a law. Previously, the registered center should recalculate this taxation amount each 5 years, now each 3 years. I think it improves the quality of taxation, and there were not so unbalanced situation between real situation and figures of registered center.
Okay, and was there yeah?
And who is responsible in Latvia also? The center, cadastrian center, but you have also special dedicated.
There is land service, so-called.
Land service.
Yeah, it's in charge of it. And but I understand that now when these cadastral values will be close to the market values, then was there a big debate that people were opposing this and basically almost going on streets to oppose this?
Yes, but you know, the latest version of our property tax, it is written that for main property, you should exceed more than 450,000 euros value. So for one person. So it means for my family, the value could be until approximately 1 million, and the payment would be very low. So it's not necessary to go on streets.
Okay. So there is a shelter for those who are having smaller properties.
Yes, it would be no problem.
Mhm. And how about this new idea? I just read about this possibility of implementing 0% corporate tax on reinvested profits like it's in Latvia and Estonia. I heard this uh, idea could also be proposed for the new package for next year. How serious this idea is, and what do you think about this?
First of all, this is not new idea. I remember it was raised maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and each year the business raised this idea. But no, I don't think so that it would be taken into account.
Hmm. So this will not be implemented. No, you don't think so? Okay.
Not bad, but
Okay. Okay. My last question, when I was reading through this reform in Lithuania, I was thinking about this sugar tax, which you also mentioned that it applies to sugary drinks. But if I remember correctly, when I was looking into this topic deeper, I remember that sugary drinks were about only some 5% of sugar consumption. So do you think this will be a part of a wider story of applying a wider sugar tax, or this is basically where it stops?
think we will see. It's just on one hand, it could be just the first step into sugar tax. On the other hand, we don't have still yet discussions with Ministry of Finance and in government about implementing in this tax about for other, for example, for other things, yeah, for other consumption. So we will see. But this tax is not so difficult. It's not so easy as also one, but it's related with companies, so I think we will mention. So administrative.
Okay, and then the other, yep.
But we will see. We will see what will happen.
The other topic you already started to talk about VAT gap, and that's a big issue in Lithuania. Why do you think Lithuania was not so successful as Latvia and Estonia in this sense? Because the VAT gap, I think the latest figures were closer to 1 billion euros per year by European Commission statistics. So it's a huge amount also for Lithuania.
First of all, it's a little bit maybe a different situation from the start when they started calculated this tax gap, and I would like to present you some figures. For example, in 2018 we have 24%. In 22 we have 14.6. It's decreasing. It's not so sharply decreasing that it's necessary, but it's decreasing. It's really good news. I was looking at Latvia's figures and Estonia's figures, and a little bit, I think it's a little bit different. Our economy structure. We have a lot of individuals in Latvia. We have more than 200 physical persons working as self-employed individuals, and they are usually almost mostly not VAT payers, and the payments are mostly in cash and small amounts, and it's not easy to control. In Latvia, I think you will have few times less individuals. And
I think some 30,000 much less. Yeah,
much less. Yeah, in Estonia also it's really much less, and it's not easier to control. On this side, we implemented some. We are not implementing some drastic, for example, measures. Yeah, we are implementing step by step. Few from 2017, we started to implement our new smart taxation, some projects related to smart taxation. This year, finally, I hope we will finish our project called ECA, when cash registers data should be sent to our system, and now approximately 50,000 cash registers are sending information to us. Still 20,000 not sending, but I think this really improves our analytical quality and helps us to communicate with taxpayers as soon as possible, because previously we have, if you are not VAT payer, we just have data from annual profit tax report, or income tax report. So I think it should help. Also, we ask IMF. We are planning to have a new project with IMF to help us improve in the situation. We will see. We have special dedicated plan related with VAT administration, and we will see what IMF could suggest for us. And we also are asking IMF to evaluate our VAT tax administration improvement plan. But still, the good news, Yanis, is that this is decreasing, and it's really okay. But on the other hand, we want maybe some more to be more stricter to some taxpayers. But as I mentioned, for example, 1/3 of VAT gap exists in trade sector. And in this sector, no, it's obviously because in Lithuania, a lot of people are trading enterprises. And 70, approximately in this sector, operating 70,000 enterprises, companies, and approximately 70,000 people. So it's huge amount of taxpayers, and it's not so easy to. We have to prioritize our risk. We have not enough resources for all, and we are focusing on the biggest risks. But we are starting to use some nudging measures related with the taxpayers. And for example, last year we communicated with 8,000 really small companies, and we sent questionnaires. And after sending these questionnaires, they changed their situation and paid 7 million VAT to budget. So with small efforts, we get not so bad result.
Cool. And you mentioned this online cash machines, cash registers. I know that the Latvian counterpart is resisting this idea, but in Lithuania, you say it's successful, yeah, for collection and dragging from the gray economy.
I think yes, but it was not easy. Not easy to do this project because it was postponed for 5 years, for 2 years. But this year is final year, and I hope new government and new parliament will not postpone for some, because we still have, as I mentioned previously, 20,000 cash registers not in our system. And the end of this year is last point, and they have to do this, and we will see. But
why it wasn't easy?
No, if you are participant of gray economy, you don't want to send data to tax administration.
Okay, that's simple. And but what do you think about this VAT system in general? That I think if we look at some stories that even tax fraudsters tell, I hear from those stories that it's so simple to make tax fraud that at least from what I hear from them, isn't that the problem of the VAT system itself that needs to be corrected? Basically, we are post factum chasing those fraudsters, but somehow maybe the system should be that the fraud is not possible.
But let's imagine what kind of system should be. For example, USA has have what systems? They have some turnover tax, yeah. But I couldn't imagine that Europe Commission would decide to change VAT system to turnover tax. It would be much easier. I remember colleagues from USA tax department. They said, "You have VAT, you have problems. You don't have VAT, we don't have problems."
But they also have problem at
that it's not so easy to make a fraud. It's so easy to create a chain, but it depends on first how we are good in analytical area, and how we could as soon as possible to find this chain. And also it's very important part is the what measures should be taken against these fraudsters. And sometimes we are not so efficient in all our court system. We are losing cases and missing traders, and we are calculating money for missing traders. And personally, from my point of view, it's just waste of time, because we get to budget totally zero from them, because they don't have nothing. They have nothing.
So what to do?
let's organize special conference. It's modern. It's this time hackathon, for example, how to solve this problem.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned a very important word, cash. That the gray economy is also a lot in cash. What do you see this so-called under the table salaries also, or envelope salaries as a big problem in Lithuania?
To tell the truth, maybe 10 years or 15 years ago, it was really a big problem. It was really a big problem. Now our studies and our tax audits and some analytical data don't show that it's a huge problem in Lithuania. I think it became less and less, especially we have a special law. I could send you maybe part of in social security that even if you if you are working for example, not full FTI in company, for example, partly, you should pay social insurance for at that. So it's I don't know. I think in Latvia it's almost the same. Maybe in small enterprises and where you giving your services or your production only in cash, it's easier, but in big companies it's difficult to pay envelopes. In construction, I think in construction area maybe, or as I mentioned previously, in small enterprises more. But the part of, and if you compare, for example, if 10 years ago some companies paid, for example, in envelope 300 euros and also 300 officially. So now this totally changed, maybe 500, 800 and 200. No, it's different. It became less and less. But I couldn't say that we don't have these problems. Of course, we have this problem, but not so big as it was previously.
So you said it was 10 years ago. What changed 10 years ago?
What changed, as I mentioned, maybe 7 years ago it was changed. But this law in social security, yes, 7 or 8 years ago, and also I think we have investments from foreign countries, and they bring different culture in our companies, and also the young people, they don't want to get envelopes. Also, a culture of society is changing, and young people don't like work in companies where the envelopes exist. Mentality of society is changing. It's also good for us.
Yeah, young generation is coming. What about the technology in tax authorities? We had a quite big debate last week where again the tax authorities. It was in the news that the tax authorities are introducing some new technologies in order to detect some possible fraud or something unpaid. But do you see this AI and blockchain technology as a sort of big help in your daily work now and going forward?
I agree with you that we have to use some AI technologies or machine learning systems, and even this week, our young analytic people presented for us the newest thing in but it's you will be used in our inside in our organization related with VAT fraud detection. But it's just start, and the efficiency is approximately 35%. I hope AI and machine learning will improve this. This will help to improve this instrument. Also, I would like to mention that we have a huge project related with digital transformation of our institution and funded by EU. And we are creating a new tax administration platform and creating new services. And as I spoke few words previously about our pilot project related with VAT declarations evaluation in real time. And now we are using this detection for approximately 1,500 enterprises, but it brings to budget, we started it last September, and it brings to budget 19 million VAT. And it also helps our clients without any control measures, only after getting notification from STI to improve their tax compliance. And I am really proud of this project. And I think this is the future of tax administration when we have possibility to evaluate declarations in real time and just don't take in account in STI account bad declaration data. It improves also data quality, compliance, and I think we are more friendly for our clients because it's not necessary to do even easy measures from no control measures, just only simple notification. And 76% of our clients, they react to these notifications. It's a really good percentage, I think, and they change their liabilities, VAT liabilities.
Mm-hmm. From this all technology and AI story, what has been the most successful lately?
We are going only, just started to implement this new technologies, but I think this VAT fraud detection project would be the most successful, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Do you see also the risks of using this AI from the perspective of what happened, for example, in the Netherlands, where actually it was difficult to detect the reason of thinking, and as a result, some big mistakes were made.
I think we could really be very careful in using the systems. From my point of perspective, IE and some other instruments could be really successful in improving our, I'm looking for it word, our own efficiency, personal efficiency, when they could help us to work in routine works, but to make decision only for IE without any control, internal control measures, it's quite risky, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite risky. But as I know, these instruments are improving week by week and so rapidly changing. So we will see.
What about cryptocurrencies? Do you see these changes from next year will improve that there will be more transparency, at least from the tax authorities' point of view, and less gray economy in that area?
We also have special dedicated division for electronic trade and cryptocurrencies. And I think all step by step we should improve transparency in each area, especially in this area, which as few years ago it was for me so sophisticated, but now it's real life. And what is your opinion?
I'm hoping very much to these measures that crypto exchanges will need to notify the tax authorities from next year, and at least in European Union, and this from that perspective, the use of crypto will be much wider, and actually, it's good for crypto if this really will become true, and probably the world will be even having more globalization than before. So
I think, as more information we have, as more efficient we could be, and as more compliant will be our taxpayers, and this is good for everybody, for tax administration, for clients, and for society.
mm-hmm.
But the main thing is to use right information on time and as soon as possible. I think but this is a key issue at this time because we have a lot of information.
Right. And finally, the Lithuania has 23 different taxes. Well, do you have some dream about ideal tax system in Lithuania?
Yes, a few years ago, not maybe a few, I always have a dream that taxation system should be very simple and understandable and easy. But still, my dream is dream. But I think maybe next step could be to join the land tax with property tax, real estate tax, and some taxes. We will see. But in this age of turbulence, you never know what would happen next week. And I think that tax administrations in each country, it's some kind of basis, foundation, or background of financial stability of states. So, and our success is real estate success.
Mm.
Because as I always said for our newcomers, that we are the most important institution in state. Do you agree, Andy?
I agree fully, and everything is connected to taxes. Actually, everything in life. So exactly. But do you see that it's utopia that one day taxes will be collected automatically and tax lawyers and bookkeepers will be able to do something else, something more meaningful in life?
I don't think so that it's utopia. I think that it depends on situation, and as we spoke previously, some instruments from IT digitalization is going on and on, and it depends on how would be constraint of these taxes, and if, for example, everybody are making via their business via accounts. No, for example, let's imagine, and we get this information. It's not easy to us to calculate, but we have to focus on simplicity of tax law.
Mm-hmm.
As more exemptions we have, as more difficult tax administration is from my point of view. But it's not easy to avoid exemptions, especially in political.
Yeah, that's big politics.
Yeah, it's a big politics.
So thank you, Edita, for your time. I have always the last question about your version of meaning of life. What would be your short answer?
My meaning of life is related with never-ending learning and continuous improvement.
Thank you.
I trust
Thank you.
this. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edita Janušiene, head of the Lithuanian tax authorities. Thank you for your time, Edita, and it was a real pleasure to talk to you. So
once again, Yanis, thank you for your invitation, and I hope it was the first time, but not the last.
absolutely, absolutely.